This is Embrace Your Inner Boldness, a podcast about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. I'm Melissa Henning Frank, coach, guide, and founder of Becoming Bold. I help you strip away the conditioning, reclaim your voice, and rise into the power that's always been yours. Let's get right to it. Hey, bold soul. Welcome back to Embrace Your Inner Boldness. Today we're diving into something that we all do, even if we'd rather pretend that we don't, and that is sabotaging who we truly are. So we're going to talk about where that comes from, why it's so freaking hard to stay true to ourselves, especially if we came from environments that didn't support who we were. We'll talk about how our biology literally conspires to keep us small, and of course, how we can rise the hell out of it. Personally, I am a work in progress with this topic, and I do consider myself an expert because I've basically been obsessed with studying human behavior and personal development my entire life. But in no way do I claim to have perfected this. My aim is to be conscious and intentional and work with the strategies that I've learned over decades to overcome when I get stuck in a funk. And if you're one of those people who feel like this topic doesn't apply to you, I challenge you to get quiet for a few and really sit with your thoughts, really paying attention to what they're telling you. And maybe you do consistently show up as you truly are, or maybe you've been doing it so long you don't see it. Either way, multitudes of people around you struggle with this every day, and maybe you can help your loved ones pull up and out of it, so stay tuned. This one's going to be real, a little raw, and hopefully a huge permission slip for you to come home to yourself. So why do we sabotage ourselves? I'm pretty sure none of us wakes up in the morning thinking, I can't wait to abandon who I truly am today. And yet we do it over and over. It doesn't matter if it's a lot or a little, we do it. We lie about what we want. We hide our little quirks. We talk ourselves out of taking risks. Maybe we date people who just don't get us, or we people please our way through conversations. And why? Because deep down, we're wired to choose belonging over authenticity. And here's the deal. If you grew up in a place, whether that's family, culture, community, that didn't support who you naturally were, who you were born to be, you learned fast that being yourself wasn't safe. Maybe you were too loud, maybe you were too quiet, maybe you were too sensitive, too ambitious, too artsy, too queer, too weird, too something. So you started putting on masks. And these masks said, I'm agreeable, I'm chill, I'm easy, I'm perfect, I don't need much. And every time you wore those masks, you drifted a little bit further away from the real you. Let's talk origin stories for a second, because we all have them. Maybe you grew up in chaos, or you were the peacemaker in a house full of tension, or you were the golden child who had to be perfect, or you were the rebel who couldn't get it right no matter what. Environments like that send messages loud and clear. They say, your feelings are too much, your dreams are silly, you should keep the peace, don't rock the boat, we don't do things like that in this family, who do you think you are? These messages get baked into our nervous system, and suddenly it's not just thoughts you're fighting, it's your own biology. Let's geek out on that for a second, because this is where biology and psychology collide. Your brain's number one job is to keep you alive. It's not to keep you happy, not to keep you authentic or real, it's to keep you alive. And when you're a kid, your survival depends on connection with your caregivers. So if being too you threatened that connection, your brain tagged authenticity as dangerous. And then there's the amygdala, your fear center in your brain. It's scanning for danger, and that's including emotional danger. So if it senses that speaking your truth, standing out, or showing who you really are might get you rejected, it pretty much slams on the brakes. And then your nervous system kicks in with a stress response. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. When it kicks into fight, you might argue or defend yourself aggressively. If it kicks into flight, you might avoid people or situations. If you get into freeze mode, then you could be shutting down or going numb. And if you're fawning, then you're people-pleasing or becoming overly helpful. So every time you try to step out and be who you really are, your body might literally feel unsafe. And that's why it's not enough to just think positive or fake it till you make it. We really have to work with our biology. Let's shine a light on the sneaky ways we sabotage being who we truly are. Let's start with people-pleasing. And this is saying yes when you mean no, or smiling when you're dying inside. You pretend to laugh at a joke that actually offends you because you don't want to make things awkward. Or you hold in your real opinion during a family dinner because you know it'll cause drama. Basically, it's sacrificing your truth so that other people feel comfortable. Next, there's perfectionism. And this is thinking that you can't show up until you've got it all figured out. You might be terrified to speak up in a meeting unless you're 100% sure that your point is bulletproof. Or maybe you spend hours rewriting an email, terrified of sounding unprofessional or making a typo. Or you won't invite people over because your house isn't guest ready. Perfectionism whispers that you're not allowed to be seen until you're flawless. So let me know if you relate to that one. How about shrinking? This one is such a common one, and that's hiding your talents, downplaying your opinions, avoiding praise. You might pretend you're fine with the safe job that you have, even though you dream of something bigger. Or you minimize your achievements so people don't think you're arrogant. Shrinking is turning down your light so it doesn't blind anyone else. Or maybe you're an overachiever. Do you stay busy to avoid facing your feelings? Or do you keep your calendar jam-packed so you never have time to sit and feel your emotions? Or maybe you overcommit because being needed feels like proof that you matter. You might hustle for external validation because slowing down actually feels terrifying. Overachieving is really the socially acceptable way to run from your feelings. And then there's the numbing out. It's scrolling, shopping, drinking, overworking, anything to avoid feeling uncomfortable. Maybe you open Instagram for 5 minutes and look up 2 hours later. Or you binge Netflix shows instead of really processing why you're feeling sad. Or you work late every night because being alone with your thoughts is too uncomfortable. How about self-doubt? This is such a big one. And I feel like this is the one that I really struggle with, that I'm still working on. Constantly second-guessing yourself. Writing a text, deleting it, rewriting it, deciding not to send it because you're sure it sounds needy. You question whether your friend is mad at you because they didn't use an emoji in their reply. Or you replay a conversation from yesterday and you're convinced that you embarrassed yourself. Or maybe you talk yourself out of applying for a job because you don't meet every single requirement. Or you second guess a boundary you set because you're worried that you were too harsh. Self-doubt loops are like a mental hamster wheel that goes nowhere. And how about comparison? Measuring your worth against other people's highlight reels. Maybe you're proud of your progress until you see someone on Instagram who seems further along. Or you judge your body because your friend dropped weight faster than you. Or you feel embarrassed about your house because your sister-in-law just bought a mansion. Or you see someone's perfect vacation pictures and you decide that your life must be boring. Or assuming that everyone else has their shit together and you're the only mess. I feel like that is such a common one, and it comes up in so many conversations that I have. Comparison is measuring your behind the scenes against someone else's highlight reel. And these are all survival strategies, so pause for a moment. If you're judging yourself, just stop. Remember, your brain is trying to keep you alive, and these are survival strategies, but they keep you small and exhausted. One of the biggest reasons we stay stuck in this habit is because we don't even realize we're doing it. So I'm going to detail out some examples that you might actually see yourself in. I talk to so many people who say, but I'm just an easygoing kind of person, or I'm just super independent, or I don't really have big feelings about anything. And sometimes that's true. I've told myself those fibs many times. A lot of the times, those are just fancy ways of saying, I've learned how to disconnect from who I really am so I don't get hurt. So how do you know if you're abandoning yourself? Let me give you some symptoms and signs to watch for. The first one is you feel numb or meh a lot. Life feels kind of beige or kind of vanilla. You're not miserable, but you're definitely not excited. And you might say things like, I don't know what I want, nothing really lights me up, or I'm fine either way. So if everything feels fine, chances are you're really suppressing your true desires so that you can stay safe. Number 2, you constantly second guess yourself. I gave you some examples a few minutes ago. Maybe you make a decision and then you spiral about whether it was the right one, or you replay conversations in your head and you're so worried that you said something wrong. Or maybe you check in with other people different times, multiple ways before you decide to trust your own instincts. Number 3, you feel resentful but you don't speak up. You say yes when you mean no, you agree to plans that you dread, you do things for people and secretly wish they'd somehow just know you hate it. Resentment is such a huge clue that you're abandoning your needs. So if you're saying yes, or you're doing things for other people and then you get irritated about it later and take it out against them, that's a really big sign that you are sabotaging yourself to keep safe. Number 4, you judge yourself harshly. So pause for a second and think about how you talk to yourself. If your self-talk sounds like, I'm too much, I'm not enough, I shouldn't feel this way, you shut yourself down before you even try. That's self-abandonment talking. Number 5, you shapeshift, depending on who you're with. Maybe you're one person when you're with your family, a different person at work, and another with friends. You're adjusting your opinions, your style, your humor, or things that you're interested in so that people will like you or feel comfortable. I personally can really relate to this one when I think about joining a new team or starting a new project and really kind of feeling out the room before I allow my true self to come out. And my confidence takes a hit every single time. The good news is I'm fully aware of that's my go-to style, and I have strategies that help me overcome that much quicker. Number 6, you struggle to answer the question, what do you want? I ask clients this question all the time. What do you actually want? And they freeze. If that question feels terrifying or your mind goes blank, it might be because you've been ignoring your own wants for so long that you can't even hear them anymore. And I know this because I've been through it. The last symptom that I'll share today is your body feels tight, it feels tired or heavy. Our bodies always know before our brains do. And self-abandonment often shows up as a tight chest, a lump in your throat, fatigue, stomach issues, headaches. If your body feels tense whenever you're around certain people or situations, that's data. And that's a sign and a symptom. And it's something that once you're able to recognize that that's what's happening, you can actually do something about it. So here's the $1 million question to help you catch yourself in the act. Am I doing this because it's true for me or because it's safer? If it's about safety, there's probably some self-abandonment happening. And it's not shameful. Don't judge yourself for that. It's human. The goal is not to judge yourself. It's to truly notice, because if you can name it, you can change it. So if you're listening and thinking, holy shit, that's me, take a deep breath. You're not broken. You've just been surviving, and you can learn a new way. Okay, so what do we do about it? Knowledge is power, but action is transformation. Some of these actions might sound familiar from previous episodes, and yeah, that's because they're worth repeating. We still have work to do on remembering who we were before the world told us who to be. So here's what I would encourage you to do. Start calling out your patterns in real time. Use the language, use the words. I'm fawning right now because I'm afraid they'll be mad. I'm staying quiet because I'm afraid to sound stupid. Naming it like that takes the shame out of it. Don't forget that your breath is so powerful when it comes to the brain-body connection. The body needs to know that you're safe. So practice 4-7-8 breathing. That's where you inhale for 4, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. You can also shake out your hands and your body. And I know that might not be the best thing to do if you're out in public, but this is a really good way to get it out quickly. You can also put a hand on your chest and remind yourself, I'm safe right now. You don't have to say it out loud, but really hear your voice in your mind. I'm safe right now. Also, get curious about your programming. Ask yourself, whose voice is this? Mine or my parents'? Who taught me it wasn't safe to be myself? And is this true today, or is it just old programming? You don't have to go full on bold right away, but there's little actions that you can take to kind of ease your way into it. Wear the funky earrings. Share the unpopular opinion. Post that art that you're scared to show. Tell someone the truth about how you're feeling. Those tiny acts are courageous, and you have to have the courage before you can feel the confidence. I love the concept of reframing or rewriting the narrative. So instead of thinking or feeling, who do I think I am? Try, I'm someone worthy of being seen. I deserve to take up space. My authenticity is my gift to the world. The way you talk to yourself matters so much more than what anybody else thinks or says to you. Analyze the people around you. Are they helping or hurting how you're showing up? Find people who celebrate who you truly are, whether that's a therapist, a coach, friends who accept you in all your messiness, or community spaces where you truly feel seen. Remember this, it's not your fault that you learn to abandon yourself, but it is your responsibility to come back home. Also, it has taken this long to be who you are right now with all the masks and the filters and the self-doubt, and it will take time to undo all of that programming and conditioning. So keep it simple. Work on it every day and realize it's not going to be undone overnight. There will be moments that it pops up again, even after you thought you were over it. And the good news about that is you now have strategies to overcome it and not get stuck in the muck about it. That's truly the work of becoming who you truly are. So my friend, if you have been sabotaging who you truly are, please know that you're not broken, you're human, and you're not alone. Your truest self, who you really are, is still under the masks, and it's waiting for you to come home. So I dare you to pick one tiny thing this week that feels true to you and do it. Wear the thing, say the thing, be the thing. The world needs the real you, not the edited version. And I know that's not what we were taught, but it is the truth. If this episode resonated, share it with someone who might be stuck in the same loop. And DM me your biggest insight. I love hearing how these conversations land for you. Do not miss next week's episode where I go into detail on how my Carl Jung-inspired personal impact coaching with Myers-Briggs type indicator, that's a mouthful, helped me on my own path of shedding the masks and recognizing my own self-sabotaging behaviors. Until next time, stay bold, stay spicy, and please be kind to your mind. That's it for today's episode of Embrace Your Inner Boldness. If this stirred something in you, don't let it fade. Screenshot this episode, tag me at Becoming Bold LLC, and share it with someone else who's ready to rise. And hey, if you haven't already, take a second to subscribe, rate, and review the show. That's how we spread the boldness and keep this movement growing. Whatever came up for you today, feel the fear and do it anyway. You don't need to wait for perfect timing or permission. You are powerful. You are ready. And remember, the only limit to your boldness is the one you set for yourself. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep becoming you.